All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all Joachim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into a lesson, something that hit my spirit. I think was it Friday? Yeah, Friday we was kind of going into this at camp. And I know, I had mentioned this about like what could Esau and Shalom, tell Akim Akwathu maybe tuning in Yahweh Shema Shabrakathem. Shalom to the brother Yahweh, the Shalom, Yahweh Shema Shabrakatah. But I had mentioned this at Camp Friday, and it was still on my spirit just to touch on it again. But or should I'll start here. We know we coming into a time to where great persecution is coming on the world, on the world. And when it comes on the world, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and these other governments, they have a specific target who they want to, or they have specific people who they are targeting. And that's those of us who have this truth. As it says in Revelation 12 and 12, Esau coming down with great wrath because he know he got a short time. And then you jump to Revelation 12 and 17. It says that the dragon was wroth with the woman, Israel, and he went to make war with the remnant of her seed who had the testimony of Yahweh Shai. That's the elect. So when Esau come down on the world, he mainly coming after those who serve in the Lord. Now, the thing I want to say is that we have been living in a world to where Esau, the so-called white man, part of his strength, or should not part, but his strength in ruling have been in secrecy. His strength in ruling also have been a part of putting fear into people, having people in fear, living in constant fear. And a big thing about that, a lot of people fear dying. What's going to happen in the afterlife, right? Heaven or hell. Coming into this truth, the Heavenly Father have opened up our minds to understand what happens after death. And the thing is, because I didn't want to go into a lesson on what happens after death. That's not, well, that may have to be a lesson now. But to mention that the thing is, we understand if you die and you did bad on earth, you're not going underground, with the devil underground and fire. And we understand if you did good on earth, right? You gave money to every homeless person you saw. And then when you die, you go up to heaven. That's not how it happened. That's church talk, and it's false. We understand that all people, whether you righteous, wicked, everybody, when you die, you go up to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, man. And you told, you get the results, so to speak, on how you just lived on earth. And then the Lord gonna keep you up there with all souls until he find the appointed time to send you back down. And then once a man gets sent back down, you're gonna have to live out your judgment from what you done in your past life. You see? Now, we understand when Yahweh Shah come back, those he saved, they're going into the kingdom. But after that, it's going to be, for Israel, there going to be no more reincarnation after reincarnation. The 2/3 going to be born into the kingdom. The point is, we understand that death is not a thing. We don't look at death as we once did in the past no more. When you get into these scriptures, remember, this is our comfort, man. Yahweh Shai have comforted. Let's start with the scripture. Yahweh Shai have comforted us by what he did on that cross. And not just what he did on the cross, what he did the 3 days following the cross. He rose from the dead. And man, let's get this real quick in Hebrews 2. We're going to start with the scripture. I want to get to the point I want to have, but this is a mindset. This is a thing to know going into Jacob's trouble, man, because Esau will put fear into these people. And they're going to fear death. They're going to fear the unknown to where they're going to be willing to bow down to the government. Do anything and take everything that the government will give them in these times. But those who know Esau, you don't control death. And even if you do kill me, so what? I'm going I'm going right back to the one I serve daily anyway. I'm talking to and praying to daily. And again, so what? We gonna rule anyway. Yahweh Shai said the dead gonna come back, go be on a chariot with him and gonna rule. What we fearing? And all we gotta mention, and Lord willing, we get some of this, but we gotta mention the all the things that's possible through the Heavenly Father Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. It may be you as you dying or getting tortured, you might not feel it. It may be you dying or the Lord actually allow you to die and then he bring you right back in the sight of the people who just killed you. See, and Lord willing, we get into that, but these are the things we have to consider. That's why I have this mindset. This is the mindset that our forefathers had. That like the brothers in Maccabees, they was going to be back, right? Like Abraham, he knew the Lord was going to raise Isaac back if he sacrificed him. See, death is not a thing that we should fear serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Death, the fear of death is a thing of this world, man. That's the thing of this world. Why would immortals fear death? Think about that. Now, granted, we still in the flesh, so we not immortal now, but our mind is, though. Our mind is, man. We know we're just temporarily in this flesh, but let me get this. Let me get Hebrews 2. I'm going to read it in NLT. Because if a man still fear death, then it's some more believing that need to be towards what Yahweh Shai done for us, man. Let's start right here. I'm going to start at Hebrews 2 and 14. It's in the NLT. Hebrews 2 and 14. And Lord willing, we do get into that second Maccabees, the second chapter with those brothers before they was about to die or be put to death. See, we even know it ain't dying, it's going to sleep. You sleeping for a bit. But we're going to read their accounts on how they went out in the face of Antiochus, the Edomite in the Greek Empire, when it was told either they was going to eat this pork or die. That's the same mindset we have to have going into the hour of temptation. Either take the MOTB or die. You see? Or they could try to kill us because, again, we got the Lord. That's if we may die. But let's get this. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 14 in the NLT. And it's going into Yahweh Shai, right? It says, because the Most High's children are human beings made of flesh and blood, the Son also, right? Yahweh Shai also, the Son also became flesh and blood. So he had to be made just like us. His father had sex with his mother. Sperm was shot into his mother. And for nine months, Yahweh Shai was made, had bones, ligaments, right? He was pushed out into the earth, just like every other child. And he grew up. He had emotions, right? He had, touch, taste, sight, hear, talk. He had all the things that a person have. Thoughts, he had to go to the bathroom. He got headaches. His stomach was growling when he was hungry. He was just like us. Right? He was just like us. But the point is starting right here to tell us that he was just like us is because what he did in the flesh by raising from the dead, what that mean for us who, if he was made like us, meaning if he raised, we could raise. If we all the same flesh and blood, not just that his lineage, but he was made like a human and rose from the dead, that means the same other humans could raise from the dead too. Let's read it again. Hebrews 2 and 14 in NLT. And we're going to read down because it's going to make a point. It says, because the Most High's children are human beings made of flesh and blood, the Son also became flesh and blood. For only as a human being could he die. So if he was actually born from an angel, right? He was a God on earth. He couldn't die. He was a person. The only way he could die is by being a person. He couldn't die being an actual angel. It says, for only as a human being could he die. Now check this out. And only by dying could he break the power of the devil who had the power of death. And only in this, check this out, and only in this way could he set free all who have lived their lives as slaves to the fear of dying. One more time. Because Yahushua was born as a human, and when he died and rose, he broke the power, as I say, of the devil who had the power of death. Now Yahushua got the power of death. And so other people on earth who serving the Lord, we shouldn't have the fear of dying. We shouldn't fear dying no more. Because now we get it. We get it. Again, we get it. We get one, we not dying. We going, as soon as we transition, we going right in the face of the one we serve, hoping to hell, well done, my good and faithful servant. And then we go understand, then we understand this. We gonna be at peace. I'm gonna be off the earth. I ain't gotta worry about no car payment. I ain't gotta worry about no bills, going to work, clocking in. I'm in the heavens. See, although we, if you got a family, wife, children on earth, you want to be here to assist them through as we go through this dark time, right? You want to be here to, take part in pushing the gospel, being amongst the brotherhood. But like Apostle Paul said, if I had the choice, I would rather be with the Lord. But also, like Apostle Paul said in that same verse, but we know we have to be here to fulfill a role, man. But the thing is, even if Esau try to threaten us with death, what are you threatening us with? Going in peace? What you threaten us with? Going in peace and waiting in the heavens to come back down and rule over you? Well, look, don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. Again, when we really go into this death thing, death is something that the world pushed that you should feel because you ain't know what's going to happen. Right? You going to see the devil underground. See, people ain't know what's death. We understand that now, man. And it's a comfort that comes with that. We know we're going to rule the world after. We know it's only going to be temporary. If the Lord even allow us to feel it. Remember, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in that fiery flame, was in that fiery furnace, and ain't feel nothing. Nothing. Many other examples, and Lord willing, I want to get that account with the brothers for some brothers or sisters who may not have read that, but that's a good account. It was a mother and 7 sons, and they had to either eat pork or die. And we gonna see the way they went out. They ain't just died; they went out in bravery, for lack of better words. Because you know why? They didn't fear death. Let's read this again. And we're going to move on. Hebrews 2:14 in the NLT is going to see Yahushua. Because the Most High's children are human beings made of flesh and blood, the Son also became flesh and blood. For only as a human being could he die. And only by dying could he break the power of the devil who had the power of death. And only in this way could he set free all who have lived their lives as slaves to the fear of dying. We don't have to be like the people in the world no more because we know what's going to happen in the afterlife. Everybody going to be there. And then we know in the actual life after this, we going to rule anyway. It's worth it. And we know the scripture says, if a brother want to put that, our works going to follow. See, Esau thinking if he put us to death, then everything stopped. The Lord go delete our works. The Most High go empty out our spiritual bank account like nothing that was counting no more. If he delete our videos, the Lord said, well, YouTube deleted the video, so I guess I got to take that out your, withdraw that out your spiritual bank account. No. See, these things are stored up into the heavens. So what we do for the Lord, even once Esau think he's putting us to death, but he just speeding up the transition to peace, really, our work still gonna follow. You see? Our work still gonna follow, man, Lord willing. What I'm thinking about. Let's get this real quick. Fear not him. And I want to get that account. Fear not him. And there's so many accounts to go into on why we shouldn't fear death. I'm talking about like our forefathers, situations they was in, but they wasn't tripping. They didn't fear man. They didn't fear the Philistines like King David with Goliath. He ain't fear for what? He another man too. Come on, man. This is And I say this like my bro Cabal in the New Orleans camp. He got a little saying. He said you can either die for the Lord, right, or you can die by the Lord. Choose ye. You could die for the Lord, or you can die by the Lord. Meaning what? We coming into the time where a decision gonna have to be made. There's gonna be a line drawn in the sand, and each person gonna have to choose which side you on. You serving the Lord, or you go bow down to the government. Because remember, it will be a new world. The preparations on starting a new world order will be tried by Esau, but it won't be fulfilled according to Job, I think 20, right? But what comes with a new world order beginning is that everybody gonna have to be under the same rule. And I mind you, remember the WHO just signed a treaty that the next sickness, the whole world will have to get under it. And it goes into how they gotta share technology. Whatever that means, we'll see. But everybody will have to get down with a digital ID or MOTB, so on and so forth. And if you don't, you either go get cast out and cut out of society, and as it get further on in the progress, either put to death under the guillotine. Going back to what Cabal said, the brother New Orleans, you could die for the Lord or by the Lord. If you die for the Lord, and we're going to get this in a few, if you die for the Lord, meaning what? You told the people who threaten you, the people on earth, Esau, the government, the troops, you told them, look, kill me. I ain't about to take your seat up. I would rather take death. You died for the Lord. So now man had to put you to death. But see, with the Lord, you could die, he could raise you up, or you could die and not feel it, or you could just die and just come back with the Lord, with Yahushua. But on the other side, if you fear man and say, okay, Mr. Esau, I'm scared, I'm hungry. You see, my children need to eat, man. Look at his ribs, right? If you fear man and fear your conditions that man put you in, and you say, look, I surrender, now you may get a little sea help. You may get a little MRE pack to eat. You may get a cot to sleep on. But when you feel that ground starts shaking and the sky start darkening and the Lord come back, now guess who got to kill you? The Lord. Because you feared man. You feared man, so you said, man, I'm going to bow down. So now guess who got to deal with you? The Lord. Now the Lord got to kill you himself. Or you got to be here for a missile. And then you got to see, and then in the afterlife, when we rule, you're going to be feeling bad for a point in time as an Israelite because you feared man. And look, you're going to look at Esau in the kingdom. And look, you know how the scriptures say, we're going to look at Esau in the kingdom and say, is this the man? Because we all going to be shocked by how weak he is and how powerless he is. And if you get in the kingdom and you see that, you be like, damn, I was scared of him. I feared him over the Lord. Right. We won't be like that. Point is, if we could have that thought now, that's the mindset we want to have. And pray to the Lord, we have that going into this time. Why fear man? What can man really do, man? Think about it. But fear the Lord, because the Lord could do anything. Let's read this. Matthew chapter 10. Matthew 10, what verse? And 28. Matthew 10 and 28. This is Yahushua speaking. It's a lucky for, the long rant, but some things just got to be said. Matthew 10 and 28. It says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. We don't have to fear man. It may be Esau got you in a chair, in Jacob's trouble. It says some of us go be brought before kings, governors, and rulers. They got you in a chair, like the Death Row Records logo with the dude in the chair with the bag over his head. You in a chair, right? They take the bag off your head. There's number Edomites around, like on some Squid Game shit. They trying to torture you, and they start torturing you. Cut off one finger, right, and cut off the other finger, and they taking their time to get to the main event. And before they could get to the main event of torturing you, you already spilled blood, and you already in the spiritual realm. Now, guess what? They can't do nothing else. What they gonna do to the body? They could do whatever they want to the body, but you ain't even in the body anymore. You with the Lord now. See, man could do stuff to the flesh, but he can't do nothing to the spirit. Man can't stop your spirit from being the elect. Man can't stop your works from following you if you die in this world. You know? But let's read it. It says, and fear not them, Matthew 10:28, fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. We need to fear the Lord, because not only could he kill our flesh and make us feel every last bit of it, but the Lord can have a man die, right? He can have you die, your spirit go up to the spiritual realm, and in your incarnation, when he send you back, he can have you born retarded, right? He can have you born just suffering in your flesh, you know. You especially how them Indians, the Lord be messing them Indians up. Boy, he be having them just born with 5 feet, you know, three eyes and no nose. He can have you born, you here, but you just dead. You can't talk. You just a vegetable. See, the Lord ain't what the one we want to play with, man. We need to fear the Lord over man, because you know why? Esau, all these other nations, they can't save us from the judgment of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. They can't save us from what the Lord could do to us, but the Lord can save us from any and everything these people could do to us, man. You see? But let's move on. Let's move on. What else? Let's get that Maccabees. Let's get into it. And it's other things I want to mention too, like other accounts, but like Apostle Paul said in Hebrews 11, time would fail us if we went into every account. It's so many accounts that our power gave us. Let me take a quick detour. It's so many accounts that our power gave us to go into this time with confidence, man. What are we fearing death for? Death is a thing of this world, man. If we already know what it is, Hebrews written of 15:4. Hebrews 15:4. 4 and 15, written of 4. So like I'm trying to find a precept written of 4 time. 12. What is I know it's Hebrews 15:4. Man, I typed it in. There's Hebrews chapter 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime. Now, what are the things that was written aforetime in the past, right? That's aforetime. That's everything our forefathers went through. Whether it was us as a nation of Israel, or a forefather or a foremother. There are stories of triumph. There are stories of overcoming. There are stories of not fearing when death was on the line, either life or death. They didn't fear that, man. The Lord gave us many different accounts for us to read, to get built up spiritually, mentally, to go into this time of our testing for this age. Let's read it. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that so once we learn these things and read them, it says that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So now that we go into our time, we're going to consider what our forefathers went through. We're going to consider, say, if Esau tell you, if you don't get this MOTB, I'm gonna throw you into this, I'm gonna burn you alive, right? I'm gonna burn you alive. What's the first thing that should come to our mind? Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was burned alive. Well, do you? You see that's and now we see why we get it. Well, we get it to where the Lord say when we get grabbed in front of kings and rulers and governors, that we're gonna speak against them for a testimony against them. The Lord never said we go be in front of them and say and be scared. I'm sorry. Yeah, I ain't mean to. No, he said we gonna speak boldly in the midst of them people. You know why? Because we get it. We know the end game. We gonna be up in there telling them, prophesying to them that look, we about to be back, right? You know you fucked up, right? We gonna hit him with one of them, Lord willing, But this is written. It's written. Somebody gonna have to do it. We just hope we are the ones, if we're in that situation, that we gonna speak against them people again. Whoever grabbed up by these governors and rulers, they're gonna be spoken against. Them brothers go speak against them. The Lord gonna have to have a spirit on the man. Even look at Yahweh Shai and all his boldness in front of Pilate. He was so bold, he ain't had to say nothing. Yahushua not saying that and just looking at Pilate in his eyes, Pilate got scared. And he said, this man ain't do nothing. He went back outside and said, man, this man innocent. He got scared. But how much more in these times when everything is revealed to us, man? We gonna be telling, look, Yahushua about to come back. You know, look, the Lord might have me raise up after this. And as soon as they kill you, the Lord might have you raise up. But these are the things we have to consider going into this time. Because we gonna have comfort, man. At least an idea on what could happen. Let's read this one more time. We'll get the account. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Even look at the apostles in the New Testament. Those men was rejoicing and thanking the Lord that they was worthy to be beat for Yahushua's sake. You had men who ain't care about being beat. You had men who knew this was the truth. Those 12 apostles and those disciples back then, they was willing to be tortured, crucified, fed to lions because they knew Yahushua was real, man. They knew they seen this man walking. They knew they seen him rose. They knew what he told them was real. That's how we feel. So why would a man take death if you know this the truth? If you know you about to rule, if you know Esau society about to fall anyway, America is done. It ain't gonna be made great. We at the end of the Edom, not just Esau, but the heathens ruling. If you know this the truth, then why fear man and want to stay here and lose in this world? Man, look, let this body die in this world if that have to be, and let your soul, your spirit transcend to the heavens and wait up there till we rule, man. That's what it is. Ain't nobody we shouldn't, as although it's easier said than done, but it gotta be said. If we believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we should not fear death, man. If we believe in these prophecies, we should not fear death, man. It's easier said than done, but guess what? It gotta be said because somebody gonna do it. It's written. This the confidence that Yahushua wanna see in us, though. Think about a man, he want his woman to be confident in him like that. Even if he a little man, you know, he got little man syndrome, but him and his wife out. The wife, yeah, she want to be confident that, look, man, my husband, he gonna protect me. I'm good regardless. We good. Even if I do get my ass slapped one time, I'm good. Right? That's how and that make a man feel good. Yeah, she believe in me. Yeah, well, that's how Yahushua want us to feel as his woman. Full confidence, man. Look how Yahushua respond. I'm gonna get to the second Maccabees, but look, but just want to get some thoughts off for those who may need confidence, a little motivation, man. But look at how Yahushua responded when Stephen was giving his life for the Lord. Stephen was sitting there getting stoned. We ain't talking about the little rocks that's on the side of the street in our time, like the little pebbles, you could put in a slingshot. No, we talking about ancient stones, big stones. He getting stoned, and he still got his mind focused on the Lord. They said Yahushua was in the heavens, standing up, looking down on Stephen. Man, he was hyped up about that. You see? So a different spirit will have to be put on us in these times, but the confidence comes through understanding what the Lord did, that look, he took away death. If he did it for him, that means us in the same flesh, we could be brought back from death. And also the prophecies, man, knowing the prophecies. Why would you want to bow down and stay here in America when it's about to fall? That's what it said about Moses. He didn't want to enjoy the pleasures of Egypt, of sin in Egypt for a season. It was about to be over anyway. So why are you going to take an MOTB? Missile still going to fall. The Lord still going to come. You might take an MOTB and 3 days later, Yahushua come. You see, 2 days later, he come. Just wait. You see? Come on, man. Let's get this, though. So this is a story, an account, not a story, because it actually happened. But this is a historical account, right, of some of our forefathers, right? You had 7 brothers and a mother in the Greek Empire during the Maccabees. You see, during the Maccabees. Now, this was spiritually their hour of temptation. Matter of fact, I gotta start in chapter 6. Before them, you had this elder man named Eleazar. right? And it's the time period they said, look, we got to stop all these people from calling themselves Jews. Y'all niggas got to be Greeks. And I mind you, this went on, the Hellenistic period went on for roughly 290 to 300 years. Same kind of vibe, America, right? The thing is, now we see why Apostle Paul had to come in the New Testament and say, y'all not Greeks. It's no different between the Greeks and the Jews. Why? Because our people was forced to call themselves Greeks for 300 years. So it only take what, one or two generations for children to forget what their fathers and grandfathers taught and learned and lived. How much more 300 years? So now we see those Gentiles who Apostle Paul went tell, you not a Gentile. It ain't no difference between the Greeks and the Jews, y'all Israelites, because our people actually thought they was Greeks, just like we thought we was Americans. But that was a side note. But this was that time period, the Hellenistic period. They was forcing our people at this point in time under Antiochus IV. Again, this was like in today's hour temptation. They said either eat this pork or die. And guess what our people, guess what the honorable ones did? They didn't fear death. They didn't fear death at all. And not just that I want to get this because they didn't fear death, it's because they could death. Like, how I'm gonna be looked at after this. That's why I want to get Eleazar. But then I want to get the prof. I don't know if this is a word, but prophetical. I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna make it one day. We're gonna get the prophetical thought of the 7 brothers and their mother. They was looking at prophecy like, we're gonna rule anyway. Kill me is cool. But this is some great points or a good mindset to have going into Jacob's trouble, man. Not fearing death, because we're gonna see a lot of it. We're gonna see a lot of death, and that's the main thing that's gonna persuade them to bow down to the government, death. But that ain't something we gotta worry about. But let's start right here with our forefather, Eleazar. Now he was an elder man, right? Now let's see where we're gonna start at. I don't want to read the whole thing because there'll be a lot of reading, but for your own Second Maccabees, the 6th chapter, and Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, is a good read. So let's start right here. Now you had everybody eating pork, and his elder man Eleazar, he didn't want to eat it. Now his friends who grew up with him, they was elder men too. They ate the pork already. They bowed down, they sold out. So they trying to get him to do it, but he didn't want to. So they even said, look, just go get some lawful meat, some turkey, some chicken, right? Some lamb, and act like it's pork, just so you can not die. He didn't even want to do that. He didn't even want to do that. Let's start there. This is Second Maccabees chapter 6 and 18. It says, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously. And that's another thing this world push. They push death as a, mourning and skulls, right? And just black and darkness. No, it's a certain glorious death too. It's an honorable death. And that's what we talking about, man. Dying for the Lord. Think about, look, man, when we get in the kingdom, that's gonna be your new celebrities. Nobody gonna care about no LeBron James. Michael Jackson. Oh yeah, Michael Jackson was the king, but ain't nobody gonna care about Michael Jackson as the king in the kingdom of heaven when he amongst real kings. Well, ain't nobody gonna care about King James, No, man, not talking about the biblical King James. That's a name for LeBron. No, your new celebrities gonna be those prophets, gonna be the people who gave their lives for the Lord, gonna be the people in the scriptures who stood up. That's gonna be your new celebrities. Children gonna want to be like them, right? Gonna be asking them, man, how it was in the Lions Den, man. Tell us. They gonna want to hear those stories. Niggas ain't gonna want to hear no podcast stories of what happened in the NBA locker room in 96. No, man, we gonna talk about, people gonna want to hear about these accounts from these men who went through it. So here's a such thing as a glorious death. Let's go back to it. This is Second Maccabees chapter 6 and 19 again, going into Eleazar. But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, he spitted forth and came of his own accord to the torment. He spit the pork out and he walked to his death, man. In modern times, it's like he said, I ain't taking no MOTB, and he walked to the guillotine. It says, verse 20, and as it behooved them to come, that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted. It says, but they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, so his old friends was in charge of it, so they was the overseers of what was going on, and they used to be cool with Eleazar. So they was in their mind, let's show him some mercy. It says, and they took him aside and besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Look, man, bring whatever you want, all right? So like I'll be getting animated. It says, bring of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. It says, and that in so doing, he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. So look, go eat some lawful stuff and just act like you're doing it, and you ain't gonna die. Let's see what this man go do. Let's see what this man go do, man. Talk about integrity. Talk about integrity to the unseen, to the higher power, who not on earth at the time of you being threatened and tortured, but you still fear that, man. That's how we want to go out. That's how we want to be in that time. You see? And you know what's a good precept to get for this? What Yahushua said. When Yahushua was in the face of Pilate, and Pilate told, and I'm talking about fearing and having integrity still to the unknown power, not the unknown power, because we know I'm talking about he's not seen, but that's what we fear. And we get that he controlled that. Having integrity towards that, man, And going back to Yahushua real quick, what Yahushua said, and this also put that into this mindset lesson. When it come down to a point to where it seemed like man call a shots on earth, we got to understand he don't. When Yahushua was in the face of Pilate, Pilate said, when Yahushua didn't want to answer him, Pilate said, you don't want to talk to me? He said, don't you know I got the power to crucify you or let you go? Let's stop there. Although we know Pilate didn't, from what Yahushua's response was, and we're going to say his response, but on earth, he actually did, though. On earth, it was actually up to Pilate who was going to let Yahushua go or let him get crucified. I'm going to give you an example. Say if your boss at your job, right? He called you into the office. You say you've been slacking or whatever. You messed up on a project, right? Your boss called you into the office. He said, hey, if you don't get your shit together, either I'm gonna fire you or I can keep you here. Right? Now, I'm gonna say that and I'm pause. I'm gonna go back to Yahushua. Just to show you how it may seem as if man have power on earth, but they don't. That's what we need to know. Going back to Yahushua, Pilate said, don't you know I got the power to crucify you or let you go? Yahushua said, you have no power at all against me, except it was given to you from above. Man, it said Pilate, he ain't say this, but Pilate shook in his boots, man, in his sandals. He shook in his sandals. What? Now, pause right there. Let's go back to us. If your boss call you into his office and tell you, if you don't get your shit together, don't you know I got the power to fire you or keep you here at this job? Think about how crazy it sounds if you tell your boss you ain't got no power at all to fire me or keep me here. You know how crazy that sound? You know how crazy that sound, because the nigga actually got power to fire you or let you go. You know how crazy that's gonna sound to him? What? He gonna look like, nigga, what? What you said to me? But we know he don't got no power. If you want to fire me, the Lord made you fire me. If you don't fire me, the Lord he ain't had you fire me. Yahushua told And see, that's what he was telling Pilate. Nigga, if you crucify me, my father let you do that. If you don't, my father let you do that. See, we get what it is past man. We look past man. We passed that already. We passed the people on earth. That's this little shit. You know? We look at, man, see, we, not to say it in pride, but we got the mindset of the things above. We not really focused on the things below. And have that, my Lord willing, we have that mindset even when we are tempted in the face of death. Man, these people, they gonna do whatever the Lord allowing them to do, man. And we need to know that whatever it is that we go through, the Lord doing it. If we have to get tortured and die, guess who wrote it like that? The Lord. And guess what you can handle if you're in that situation? You can handle it, man. But let's go back to this account. Let's go back to this account. This second Maccabees 6. So after they told him, look, just eat some fake stuff, some lawful stuff, he says, well, I'm gonna just read it. But he, verse 23, but he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age and the excellency of his ancient years and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. He said, man, send me to the grave. I ain't gonna do it. He says, for it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, so he was 90. It says we're now going to a strange religion. So part of why he didn't want to, he said, if I do it, then other young men go see me do it. And they go say, well, since Eleazar, the respected elder, did it, we could do it too. He didn't even want to, he didn't want to have his reputation tarnished. And he go say, and so they, through my hypocrisy, and desire to live a little time and a little moment longer, and we don't have that desire to live a little moment longer here. So if Esau want to threaten us with taking that from us, okay, okay, we're gonna get in Maccabees. You had one of the brothers, he walked to his death, he stuck his tongue out and arms out, said, look, cut it off. It says, should be deceived by my age, and I get a stain on my old age and make it abominable. It says, for though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive or dead. Come on, man, we can escape men, but not the Lord. So it's rather die for the Lord than fear man. It says, so wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such as one of my age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. Come on, man. Look at what our forefathers did. And these men are still famous for that today. Well, it said that if a brother want to post it in 1 Maccabees 2 and 50 and 51, it says what they went through, they left back a famous name. So what we going to go through, we want to leave back a famous name, man. We don't want to be written amongst those who fear Esau and bow down. No, man, we want to be the ones who fought for the Lord in this world. It says, so verse 30, but when he was ready to die with stripes, check this out, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in my body by being beaten, but in soul, right? In soul, I am well content to suffer these things because I fear him. Think about what this man said. He said, although I could have escaped death and fear man and escape death, but at the end of the day, he said, though I feel these pains in my body, my soul is content, because this man knew he did the right thing. And now this man about to give his life and go. Because look, at the end of the day, if you die, you got to go up to the Lord anyway. Do you want to go up shame and with and condemned? You know, no, you just bow down, or with confidence. No, look, man, I stood for the Lord. You know, I'm going out for the Lord. That's the way to go out. It says, and thus this man died, leaving his death an example of notable courage and a memorial of virtue, not only of the young men, unto the young men, but unto his whole nation. Right now, I didn't even think I was going to read that one. It hit me before we was about to get in the second Maccabees 7. But that's good too, because that's a part of the mindset. Remember, we leaving a legacy here on earth. And this one thing I kind of remind myself, how do you want to be remembered? Remember, these things that we are doing is being written. Just like we read about the accounts of old, the forefathers of old, not just the things they done, but like, the way they responded to adversity, just their characteristics. And remember, those things are being written about us too in Babylon the Great. And what we doing now in this time. We don't want to be amongst those who bow down, man. Just to get by a little longer while America's still here. Remember, it's about to be over anyway. What's the point of staying here and taking the MOTB? So what? Come on, man. But let's get this. So this second Maccabees, same time period. Eleazar, he won't die, and these brothers go follow the same example. And I'm not going to read every, because it's 7 brothers, and before each one of them die, they get their shit off. They get a testimony in front of Antiochus. They tell them what they got to tell them, and none of these brothers feared. Even, man, it say even their body parts was cut up, and they still was talking their shit, man. This is the mindset we want to have going into the time. You know why? They was confident in prophecy. They knew they was going to be back. They knew they was going to be back. The resurrection. That's why it said when we started with the Hebrews, the second chapter, verse 14 and 15, it says, because of what Yahweh did, if you believe in the Lord, you shouldn't fear death, because we're going to be resurrected too, man. Let's read it. 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and 1. And it came to pass that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king, and this was Antiochus IV in the Greek Empire, and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. But one of them that spake first said thus. So you had, I assume, the older brother, he walked up first, and and you got to picture it, get into it. Don't just read it, get into it. Like Apostle Gabar said, had that vision, Like, for example, when I read, I don't just like to, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, you just reading like a story. I read verse 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop and just kind of picture it a little bit. Think about it, like the setting, okay, there's, just picture it. And then get back into it, But it says, just some study tips. But it says, but one of them that spake first said, because look, you had Antiochus, Edomite, you had some white, Greek soldiers, and you had, think about it, Jake, which is Jake means Israelite. It's short for Jacob, because we had a brother come to camp the other day, and he been listening. He was like, man, I want to ask y'all, man, who is Jake? He was like, who is Jake? It was like, nah, that's just short for Jacob. That's like saying nigga or something, that's just short for calling our people Israelites, But the point is, but you had the 7 brothers and their mother standing there. It says, but one of them spake first and said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our father. He said, what you want from us, man? We willing to die. This the mindset to have for the MOTB. This their our temptation. Right? It says, and then the king being enraged, Esau felt played. Then the king being enraged commanded pans and cow drones to be made hot. For some who don't know what cow drones are, that's like the little witch's pot, right? Like this. You see a cow drone. And I'm sure it's a big cow drone, because what they go do with these brothers, they go chop them up and they go ball them alive. They go ball them. But we gonna still read this though. They didn't fear that. They didn't fear that, man. Well, you know why? Because they trusted in prophecy. They trusted in the resurrection. And they trusted in that before Yahweh came and did what he had to do. See, we should trust in him more, because we have Yahweh as a witness. And we have, when he died, those rose up And he said, come on, man. We have Yahweh as a witness. They ain't even had that then, but they knew what was written, though. They knew the prophetic scriptures, man. It says, verse 3, and then the king, being enraged, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, and which forthwith being heated. So once they was made hot, it says, and for which being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first. So Antiochus is probably trying to make a scene. Oh, you want to talk first? Cut his tongue out. It says, and to cut off the utmost part of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. So you had this one brother, he getting his tongue cut out, he getting his body parts cut up. You don't think that hurt? You know, get his wrist, hit him, cut him at the elbow, right? And then at the whole time, you got the mother and the 6 other brothers, they watching the whole thing. Let's see if they gonna say, oh my God, look what's happening to big bro. And one of them got scared because you had a little brother. He was like a little brother. He was like a little teenager, maybe, or maybe a 9-year-old. And you know what? He had to be young. And a preteen, because at the end it says when the mother, because it was the mother and the little brother that was last. They was the last ones left. And it said when the mother went to talk to the young son, it said she stooped down and spoke to him, showing he was a little boy, man. He had to be a little dude. You see, the thing is, as they watching this, they could have at any time said, okay, enough is enough. I'll do it. Right? Give me the pork. I'll do it. None of them said that. None of them was with it. Let's see how they went out, man. Come on, man. Boy, we got some bad forefathers and foremothers, man. The nation of Israel, we got the greatest nation in history. You know? We got some bad people in our nation, man. It says, verse 4, and for which being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue. Okay, so we read that. It says, and his mother and his brothers was looking on. Verse 5. Now check this out. Now, when he was thus maimed in all his members, and I always wonder how. And when we get in the kingdom, I'm gonna have to ask these brothers. We go watch it. You know, we're gonna watch everything, but after they got all their body parts is already cut up, they were still talking their shit to Antiochus. How? Let's read it. Now, when he was thus maimed in all his members, he cut up his tongue out his mouth. He commanded him, being yet alive. The Lord still had the spirit in his man. How? He commanded him, being yet alive, he brought him to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus. So look, as the brother, and we're going to read on, because they're going to do this to the other ones. But as the brother, you know, his body was, you know, dispersed and cooking and boiling, they kind of got in a huddle. You know, and again, just giving vision, right? The other 6 brothers and the mother kind of got in a huddle. And this is what they said, right? It says, and as the other brother was dying, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully. They was like, man, fuck that. We gonna do this shit. Man, excuse me for my language, but like, man, we gonna do this. It says, saying thus, this is what they said. The Lord Yahweh looketh upon us, and in truth have comforted us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, he shall be comforted in his servants. You know what just happened right here? Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge was the stability of their time right here. When it was time for it, they went back to the scriptures. Man, as it was written, man, it's, you know, this and this and that. That's how it should be for us. We got to remember when we get in our time, we got to remember, man, bro, the Lord about to come back. Man, we're going to rule anyway. Man, the Lord going to raise us up. We don't want to be having our head down in the kingdom if we bow down. We want to rule, man. We want to be kings, man. I don't want to sit at the Lord table. We got to consider these things when we going out. You know? But it says, so after they came together, you know, they put up a prayer and they said, break, ready, ready, break. right? And it says, verse 7. So when the first was dead, after this number, they brought the second to make him a laughing stock. I mean, to make him a mocking stock. And look, I mind you, now let's take ourselves from the perspective of the Israelites and being motivated and say, yeah, take your death. Now put ourselves in the shoes of the torturers, Esau and Antiochus and his soldiers. They thinking they doing something. It says they was mocking us. They thinking they doing something. They thinking they was torturing us, mocking us. They thought that's the end all be all of life and that's it. Nope. Not on duty. Hey, the brother's gonna tell each and every one of them, look, we gonna rise. We'll see y'all again. See, these heathens, they think it's just gonna be a torture and we dead and then life still gonna go on and how it is. No, we gonna come back. We gonna come back and see you again. Or you could be born in our world and we're gonna remind you about this. See, these are the things that we know now. We know this now. Either you gonna see me again, I'm gonna raise, you gonna see me again, or you gonna be born and I'm gonna bring this back to your remembrance in my world, in our world, not my world, but in our world. You see? We get that. But let's read this, man. It's just so many things to kind of build on this topic on why we shouldn't fear death or why we shouldn't fear Esau threatening us with death. It says, so when the first was dead, after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, so they scalped this brother, man. They scalped him. So look, they cut, where your hairline at, your line up, they cut him right there and pulled it back. So now you're just seeing the inside of his skull, not inside of the skull, but the meat and the under his skin on top of the skull. You seeing that? Think about this pain they went through, but let's see how they responded. It says, and they asked him. So look, after his top already peeled back, this is what they gonna ask him. They asked him, will thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? And see, Esau, and this is the shit that kind of make me mad. Esau will try to mock us to the point they pull this man's scalp back and say, so you gonna eat it now? Nigga, you already got my scalp back. Just kill me. What I'm gonna say? Yes, Mr. Yes, Antiochus, I'm gonna eat it. So after you eat the pork, now I'm gonna pull my shit back and go back and live a regular life with my shit lifted up. Come on, man, just off me. Come on, finish it. Go. Right? Like it's already back. Esau will try to do things like that. He go cut off a finger. So you sure you don't want to take the MOTB? No, man. I'm not about to take it and be fingerless with the fingers missing. Just do it. Just finish me, man. Finish him. Just do it. And that's the mindset these brothers had, man. Look, my shit already back. But they said, will thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? But he answered in his own language, so he spoke in the Hebrew tongue. He answered in his own language and said, La-ah. He said, no, La-ah. he probably said it like El Zaria. That's the head of our camp in Houston. He'd be like, La-ah. La-ah. He said, no, I'm not about to do it, man. He said, no. Wherefore, he also received the next torment in order as the former did. So he got his tongue cut off and he got his body parts cut off. But before he died, this is what he said. As his body and his tongue cut out and as his scalp is peeled back, this is what he still had to say. Verse 9. And when he was at the last gasp, so his last breath, he said, this is what he told Antiochus the Edomite, he said, thou, like a fury, takest us out of this present life. But the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws, unto everlasting life. Come on, man. Come on, man. He had got that off before. It says, verse 10. And this is a small example on how it's going to be for those who Yahushua said was going to be taken in front of governors and kings and rulers for a testimony against them. We're going to be prophesying, telling them shit like this. Man, Esau, as it is written, I'm going to bind you with chains, Sowing is so fed as a vine. Once we come down, we know y'all gonna be in the bunkers. The Lord probably go have us tell them exactly where they bunker at. Yeah, I know your bunker so and so and so, and I know your room 13B in the underground bunker. I'm coming to see you, right? We won't know how it's gonna be, but somebody gonna have. Yahweh Shai said it. We gonna testify against them. He ain't never said we was gonna be scared and get condemned or lose the battle, right? Or have to go to trial and we lose the trial because of evidence. No, we gonna talk. It's gonna be against them. We gonna be telling them what it is, man. Even as we going out or have to go out, because it might not be. The Lord may give us spiritual power as they trying to torture us. Who knows? But this is how it is, man. Let's keep reading. So after he died, it was the next one. It says, verse 10, and after him was the third, made a mocking stock. Everyone was, see, from the eyes of the world, these men was made mocking stocks. But from the eyes of being of the elect, dying gloriously, you being celebrated and praised, not celebrated, but praised, you know, in the heavens for the way you went out. See, the world don't see that. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This Wisdom of Solomon 3, they don't see that. This Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 1 real quick. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. See, the people who don't know nothing, it seemed like we just dead, and then after that, life go on. And they forgot about those who serve Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Nope. It says, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. But they are in peace, for though they be punished in the sight of men, it says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Come on, man. And having been a little chastised, it's only going to hurt. Even if we have to get tortured, that pain only going to hurt for so long. Our peace going to last far longer than a pain. Peace over pain. See, hey, you know, Alizar talk about precepts of brotherhood over breakdown. No, peace over pain. You see, that's the mindset going into this time, man. Yeah, we might feel pain, but well, Yahweh, see, that's not no just bullshit. I just said peace over pain. That's how Yahweh Shai went out. Hebrews 12. It says, because of the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross and despised the shame. Because he thought about the peace he was going to receive, he didn't care about the pain for the temporary time, man. That's the mindset to have. Put that in our mind going into this time. We're going to need this. You know, that's what Apostle Paul had to say. Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom. So before this tribulation, sometimes we need these pep talks, man. Think about our forefathers. Before they went to war, they gave pep talks. Judas Maccabees. He'll tell them, look, man, hey, remember Moses, man. Remember we did so-and-so. Remember Joshua when he struck down this king. We need these pep talks. We need these accounts before we go into this time. But going back to this, the people of the world go think we just dying, but we know it's greater than that. Verse 5, Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 5. I'm going to go back to 2 Maccabees 7. And we'll wind it down here in a few. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High approved them and found them worthy for himself. And what it say? Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. That's an honorable thing to do. Dying for the unknown in the sight of the known. It's in the sight of a temporary and tangible world. We will be dying for the unknown, man, for the unseen. Come on, man. Going back to 2 Maccabees 7 and 10. This is the third brother. It says, and after him was the third made a mocking stock. And when he was required, so when they said, you, the third one, your turn, now he just seen his two other brothers get their arms cut off and their tongues cut out, right? Because they said they did it all to each of them, both of them. So the third one, he, knowing the same thing about to happen to him, he walked out with his arms out and his tongue sticking out. Come on, man. Hey, I would love to see this movie. I would love to see this. This man, let's read it. It says, verse 10, and after the third was made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, and holding forth his hands manfully. They was men in this situation, and holding forth his hands manfully, and said, so he ain't wait till they could chop him up. He walked out with his tongue out, hands out. He go get his shit off first. He said, and said courageously, these I have from heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and from him I hope to receive them again. He said, look, man, I got these hands, this tongue, this body, I got it from the Lord. And for him, shit, I lose them, because I know I'm going to receive them again. And it says, in so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. And that's one thing that's going to shock these people. Just like Yahushua, Antiochus was scared because Yahushua ain't regard the pain. You know, these men ain't care about no pain. Again, going back to the title, what could you do with people who don't fear death? What's the number one thing that Esau could do to us to threaten us? Let's start with some small things first. He could fire us from our job. Ooh, right? Ooh, all right. He could put us in jail or throw us into a concentration camp. Ooh, yeah, all right. It's so scary, right? See, that's the little things he could threaten us with. He could delete our YouTube page and shit like that. You know, he could take our children and whatever it may be. But the main thing that Esau in this world, the government could threaten us with, the main thing is death. But if you have somebody who, after they get threatened with death, they say, all right, ooh, nigga, kill me then. What could you do to somebody like that? What could you do to somebody like who don't care about you torturing them? Who would it? That kind of make you say, all right, man, I don't want to fight no more, man. Hey, man, it's stupid, man. I don't even want to fight no more. Man, I don't even want to stab you no more, bro. Man, you good. Right, what could you do to somebody who don't care? Like, who, if you telling them, man, I'm going to kill you, they say, all right, shit, I'm ready to go to the heavens anyway. Start right here. What could you do to somebody like that, man? That's how the Lord going to have his elect in these times to come. We just hope to be a part of that. You know, but let's finish reading. It says, right, and it said, for he nothing regarded the pains. Verse 13. Now, when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, and I mind you, all of them ready to die at this point, just take me out. You already got me here. You already got it. Look, and had his mind. You already picked me up in a SWAT team truck. You got me here already. You know, if you're not gonna let me go, bro, I'm not gonna take that MOT, boo. But just do what you gotta do. Come on. You see? Come on, man. It says, so when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good. Look, check this out. He said thus, it is good being put to death by men, and to look for hope from the Most High to be raised up again by him. And as for thee, so as for you, Antiochus the Edomite, as for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection of life. So the brother told him, look, we're going to rise again. We're going to be here again, but you ain't. You not. Matter of fact, let me get one real quick. It says hope in death. Because this is what we have. We got hope in our death, man. This Proverbs 14:32, it says, the wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death. Even if we get tortured, we still think about the kingdom. We gonna be thinking about the after, like the after the death and shit. Like, damn, bro. Like we might even be thinking like as we get tortured, like, damn, bro. Like the Lord allowed me to go through this. I'm you know, who know? Like, damn, I'm about to get a crown. Like I'm like we gonna be thinking about stuff other than this. You know, oh my God, I can't my Xbox. You know. Oh my God, my car. Man, these people could be thinking about little shit like that. We ready to go. You see? We gonna see Yahweh Shai finally. Like even after death, we about to go to the Lord. He gonna know I die for him. You know, my work's gonna follow. Lord. See, we gonna have these thoughts, man. I'm about to get my new body. You see, I'm about to get the new body. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, come on. It says Proverbs 14:32, the wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death. It says, and that's why these men, they was ready, because they still had their faith, man. 2 Maccabees 7:15. And afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Mind you, you still had brothers and their mama looking right now. The whole time, the other remaining brothers and mama still looking. And it says, in the fifth, they brought also and mangled him. And then looked he unto the king and said, so after he cut up, and he said, thou hast power over men. See, you got this little power and shit on earth. It says, thou hast power over men, and thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou will, and yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. Come on. This brother, he might be a prophet. All of them probably was prophets because they prophesied about the resurrection. They prophesied about the resurrection, and he even this brother probably was the prophet out the group. I don't know if not all of them, but the reason I said it is because he said in Amaj, he talking to Antiochus, and he knew they was Edomites or the wicked, but he said, abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed, man. That's what Esau will get the main torment. See, we know we gonna even look. That's some things we could tell Esau too as we going out. We not to say in a proud manner, but we do know more than these brothers knew. We could hit scriptures, you know. And then look, the Lord say and not to say we could plan on what we're gonna say. I'm gonna write this one down because if I'm grabbing, I'm gonna say this one right here. I'm gonna say verse 16 in 2 Maccabees. No, the Lord said he gonna put it in our mouth what to say. So it may be things that we don't even know. We ain't study yet. That the elites know. And the Lord may have us say some shit they don't know, nobody know. It may be things the Lord may have us say that one particular elite thing is his deepest, darkest secret, and we gonna out him in front of everybody. Come on, man. He gonna turn red, and everybody gonna know it's true because he turned red. And it just like Antiochus, he might feel a play to be like, man, make the pan hot. Throw him in the pan. But it says, right, so don't think you're gonna get away for this. You might be doing it to us now, but don't think you're going to get away from this. Verse 18, and after him also they brought the six, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us, man. This brother he acknowledged the offense. Look, we going through this because we deserve it. But you know what he also understood? If we're going through it, we can get through it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. He says, but, so to you, Antiochus, but think thou not, or think not thou, that takest in hand to strive against the Most High, thou shalt not escape unpunished. You're going to get you too. Now check this out. It says, but the mother, right? But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. Now, I want to make this point to show you men and women don't think the same. For the women out there who say, well, women could be men, or women, single mothers out there tell their own selves happy Father's Day on their Instagram bio, and they got to put in a caption, because I take care of him 24/7, 365. So I'm the father of the year. You still not a man, and you can't think like a man. And especially if you got a son, you can't raise your son as a man. But to say that women, well, this is biblical, because right here, the Lord about to say that the reason the mother was marvelous above all, because she was thinking like a man in this situation, not like a woman. If she was thinking like a woman, she would have told her sons probably, look, just eat the damn pork. You know? No, she went out with a manful mindset. That's why the Lord told us, gird up our loins like men, because we coming into that time. It wasn't emotional, so on and so forth. But let's read it. 2 Maccabees 7:20. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with a good courage. Why? Because of the hope that she had in the Lord. Yes, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, and filled with courageous spirits, here it is, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach, she said unto them. So she had to take off thinking like a, what that is, Steve Harvey. I think it's Steve Harvey. Think like a man, but act like a woman. I think that's his book. Right. That's what she did right here. She was thinking like a man, still being a mother. See, a woman can't have, no, men is needed at times. And since I don't know what to fall that, well, I'll say this. We was already going through the curses. Jake was already in the Greek Empire. It was probably just like it is today. The father wasn't in the house. You see? But let's keep reading. It says, she said unto them, I cannot tell you, and it's another point to make about the woman. Women that say, I brought you in this world, I can take you out. Or I made you. When they tell their children, I made you. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It says, she said, I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. So no, it's not you, mom, on why children are in the world. It ain't you who I raised. No, you did raise them, but I brought you into this world. No, you didn't. The Lord did. I made you. No, you didn't. The Lord did. And this woman knew that. Why? Because she was thinking like a man. She was being reasonable right here, using logic. She said, I cannot tell you how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generations of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you now not regard your own selves for his laws, man, for his law's sake. She said, look, I ain't give you life, but the creator of the world gave you life. And look, check this out. He'll give it back to you. Just die. He'll give it back to you. This the way to, come on, this is the way to lead in a situation as so. And especially with what we know, we go come back as the point. If we believe in the resurrection, we shouldn't fear death, man. Even when Esau threatened us with that, which that's the main thing he can threaten us with. Okay, let's get to it. Right now, you read on, and it goes on to how he eventually killed the younger brother and the mother as well. But it says they died without blame, meaning what? They died being an elect. And because it's a good read, the whole thing. Matter of fact, I read it right here. It says, verse 39. Then the king, and so look, so he had the little brother left. The little brother was left after the mother going. The little brother left. Antiochus tried to deceive the little brother and say, look, man, I know you're a young man, but look, if you eat this pork, I'll make you a king. You can be my best friend. I'll give you silver and gold. The little brother still cussed his ass out and said no. Matter of fact, we're going to read that and end it. It said, he said, and I end it. Right. This verse 34 says, but thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of the Most High. For thou hast not escaped the judgment of the Almighty Power, who seeth all things. For our brethren who have now suffered a short pain are dead under God's judgment of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of the Most High, shall receive just punishment for thy pride. And it says, verse 30, and that in me and my brother in the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. And then the king, being enraged, handed him worse than all the rest. So the little brother, he got more. And I skipped over a lot of what he said, because you have to read on your own, because he said the little brother said a lot. He cussed Antiochus out the worst. So Antiochus felt played even after he turned down being his friend. Antiochus says, Then the king, being enraged, handled him worse than all the rest and took it grievously that he was mocked. See, the little brother got his shit off. I kind of want to read it. The little brother got his shit off. Yeah. See, all this is what the little brother's saying. Yep. All this. From verse 24 on down to verse 38 is what the little brother said. So he got it off. So Antiochus fell play. But here it says, and so this man died. So the brothers, it says, of course, their mother. So this man died undefiled, meaning what? Of the elect. Undefiled, and put his whole trust in the Lord. And last of all, the son, and last of all, after the sons, the mother died. So she died last. You see? She died last, man. But that's an amazing account to use for the times we coming in. For the times we coming in, man, we need this hope. Matter of fact, overcome by their faith. Overcome by our faith. The things we believe gonna allow us to overcome and conquer the world. 1 John 5:4. And I see what bros got not ended. Don't stop believing, man. Don't stop knowing it's the truth. We know it's the truth. Don't stop knowing Yahweh shall go come, not just beam up those who are alive, but raise up those who or resurrect those who was put to death. So if we get threatened with these things, that shouldn't be nothing to shake us up like the world. Remember, Esau, he used part of his ruling tactics to keep him in rulership, to have people living under the fear of death. And he put things out there to have you constantly worried about dying, a lifestyle of death, and he got you fearing death. We now understand death is nothing to fear. That's some of this world, man. It's us. We just transitioning from this bullshit to where we supposed to be, and then we go come down from where we supposed to be. That's what we get now, man. That's what we get now. 1 John 5:4. It says, for whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world. It says, for whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world. Now, we was all born in this world with our physical father and mother, right? But then all of us come into the truth and become a new man. So we are now born of the Most High. And a step further, if we are the elect and those who was there from the foundations of the world, we kind of, are surely born of the Most High, because we was created in the beginning. Just like Yahweh Shai, no, come on, man. Anyway, but now that we're in this truth, you see, become new men, repented, so on and so forth. It says, for whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. And what is faith? Faith, according to Hebrews 11, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What's some of the things you're hoping for that we don't see? The kingdom, Yahweh Shai come and beam us up, get new bodies, having these heathens in chains, so all these things. The point is, as we in this time and we coming into Jacob's trouble, even in the face of death, what we believe in, we should still believe in that, man. That's going to allow us to overcome. Because even if we die, guess what? We're going to see what we hoping for. Even if we have to get taken from this world, we still should be believing in what the things we want to see, man. Death shouldn't stop us from believing in the things to come. It's the point. You see, let me see what the NLT say. Yep. NLT, for every child of the Most High defeats this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith, man. Come on. So Esau, look, he can kill us in the flesh, but he can't stop us from already believing in what we believe in. Look at them brothers and their mother. Esau couldn't kill their faith, and they did have faith because they knew they was going to resurrect. He can't kill faith, man. Think about that. He cannot kill faith. But I'm going to end it right there. Let me see what bros got. And two, Salakia, I wasn't able to get precepts ahead of time, but I'm going to get some now. Let's see what bros got. Shalom, Tala, Akim, Akwat, who may be tuning in. Yahweh Shem HaShai Barakatham. That's a good one. 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Yeah, we got this one earlier, but we got to get it again. Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, which is man, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. In other words, fear the Lord over man. Psalms 118:6. The Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is on my side. I will not fear what can out. For the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is on my side. I will not fear. And what can man do unto me, man? And the thing is, knowing the Lord on our side, even whatever man do unto us, the comfort is knowing the Lord allowed the shit. The Lord allowed it. See, we going into the time. Look, this is another comfort. Knowing our power controls everything. Our God controls man, people. That's why Yahushua, again, he told Pilate, you can't crucify me except it's given to you from above. Our God control people. Our God, our power also control animals. That's why Daniel ain't get bit in the lion's den. That's why Jonah was able to be in a fish for 3 days, and just so happened the exact place the Heavenly Father wanted him to be, the fish knew to spit him out right there. Why? Because our God controls animals. Our power also control elements. Why didn't Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego burn in the furnace? The point is, seeing our power control all things, what are we really fearing? If you're in a situation that, in Jacob's trouble and a lion, now again, we're in the flesh, so you might be like, oh shit, right? But remember, if you see the newly created creatures and animals on the loose, know this, the God we serve, he control that. It's up to him, up to the Lord, what he want that lion to do to us. He might have it as your little pet in Jacob's trouble, who knows? But it's also people, like whatever we go through, know it's up to the Lord. And the thing is, if you going through it, 1 Corinthians 10:13, I mean, you can get through it, man. It means you can get through it. See, going to this time fully trusting in our power, that's what the Lord looking for. He don't want nobody even with a little ounce of doubt. For what? For what? We should know our power can do these things, man, and let him shock us with things we ain't even know. Not to say we didn't know he can do, but with things we ain't consider yet. But Colossians 3:1-2, it says, if you then be risen with Mashiach, now that we in this truth, it says, seek those things which are above, where Mashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High, and set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. Sirach 4:28, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. The brother of Baravi Hawashai, Hebrews 13:6, so that we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Philippians 1:21, for to me to live is Mashiach, and to die is gain. That's right. That's what we're saying. Apostle Paul said, look, for me to live is for Yahushua. I'm gonna push this word, I'm gonna do the work for him. But if I was to die, I'll be winning. I gain something. I'm good. Right? But we can't just say I'm good, me. Shoot, Lord, kill me so I could be in the heavens and chill. No, we still gotta be here on earth, pushing out the word, going through it, man. We gotta be here. We got a role to fulfill, First Maccabees 2:50 says, now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law and give your lives. It says, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall ye. So like I got it in it. I forgot I ain't charged my laptop. It says, so shall. Hold on, let me see how long I got. Let's see how long I got. I got a couple minutes. I'm about to end it. This is First Maccabees 2:50. Now, therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall ye receive great honor and the everlasting name. That's one. We got to get one more. 2 Corinthians. I'm about to charge it too. 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. And one more. That's just like, brothers got some fire, and I end it. Romans 8:18, it says, "For I reckon that the suffering of this present time," good. It says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." Man, we about to win. The Lord ain't got it, like Elder Yashawama often say, the Lord ain't got us here in the end for us to lose. The prophets and the believers ain't gonna lose, you know. We lost and had to die and do all that at times past. Now the Lord, you know, we about to win, man. Man, brothers got some fire. Kind of, we'll end it right there. Hey, again, the water for tuning in, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You know, even, you know, exhorting, man, and encouraging. We don't have nothing to fear. We truly serve the Lord and really been doing, man, we don't have nothing to fear, especially if Esau threatened us with death. When our Lord already told us, don't fear death because I conquered that for y'all, you know? But I'm in it right there, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory once again unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Chakwadash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to Joachim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. Hey, keep fighting, keep pushing. We almost out of here. And with that, shalom.